Ave Pale Horse, Feral Omen here, and this time I'm bringing you my healer. So, to start off with, Argonian Templar. I have messed around with the Warden, but for the most part, I do prefer the Templar. It is naturally really adept at performing a healer's role, and not just its heals. A lot of healers focus, it seems like, on the health itself. I am kind of more of a buff fanatic than I am a health. I'll let somebody sit a little low on health, like not near death or anything, given a mechanic, in order to put a buff up before I heal them, if I think that they're not going to die. If I think it's prevalent they're going to die, of course, keep them alive. And especially with Orlame on, you're not chasing them having to be up at full health in order to proc spell power cure. So it makes this kind of nice. But for the most part, I keep on my on my front bar, I keep my Resto Staff bar, Breath of Life, Healing Springs, Ritual Retribution, Combat Prayer, Energy Orbs, Dampen Magic, Barrier. Healing Springs is a majorly amazing move. You restore magic for each friendly target hit up to max of 3 targets. So you're getting back about 1,000 magic every time you cast it on the group. It also procs extra things, and they stack over each other. The duration of 3 seconds, it does not replace the prior heal tick. While the visual may disappear, the heal is on the person. You can see it ticking twice and 3 times. With that, it means it stacks up to, and it's doing the 2k and an additional 2k. So that's 2, 4, 6, almost 7,000 per second that you're healing every time you're stacking another one. It's amazing. Ritual Retribution, Purify yourself, provides a synergy for people to hit, and it's a big giant ring. Covers a lot of base heals, just keeps ticks of healing on people. It's really nice. Combat Prayer, a main focus move, gives them Minor Berserk, Minor Resolve, Minor Ward, increasing their damage done by 8%, and physical resistance and spell resistance go up. Also, it's a pretty decent size heal. Orbs, everybody knows orbs, throw them out, they heal while they're floating. Not a lot, but they do. And it's a synergy, it gives people resources, dampen magic, damn good shield. Your light armor for wearing 5 of it increases it up to 30% more damage. Barrier, I honestly don't actually cast this a lot. It's really just on there for the passives. I'm still even leveling it up. But just for the passive of getting mag regen. Back bar Lightning Staff, I always keep 1 heal on. Breath of Life, this is my saving grace while I'm on my buff bar. Elemental Drain, Blockade of Storms. You know, this does, on one target, a tank should have already pierced it. This should not affect your DPS. They are already major breaching it with Pierce Armor. It does help with your Mag Steel, giving you regen. 300 magic every 1 second. It's not a lot, but it adds up. Blockade, you're trying to knock things off balance. Also, you're using it to proc your enchantments. Shards, you can place it, give it to a tank. It's just like orbs, except instead of slowly rolling, it does just plant where you want it. Channel Focus. This is going to give me my major resistances. Also, and when you're hitting that in Combat Prayer, it's major and minor. Also, you recover magic every 0.5 seconds. So that, on top of LA Drain, that's a really nice. Warhorn, this is my main ultimate. Ideally, you're never breaking cycle with it. Other ultimates to run. Solar Prison, amazing. And I personally don't really care about the damage. It's cool. it deals damage, somebody else hits it, it's probably going to scale off their mag gun or something. That's fun in games. To me, as a heal or a tank, I'm looking at Major Maim, reducing their damage done by 30% for 10 seconds. When you're struggling to keep up with a mechanic, don't negate it, don't barrier it, barrier will be gone. Negate might work depending on, so let me not say that, but don't barrier it. It's going to bleed out really quick. That barrier will be gone, be eaten up, and you're still dealing with the mechanic. Solar prison it. Make it 30% less harsh. At this point, it's manageable. For 10 whole seconds, most mechanics don't even last that long. I don't really use remembrance. It stops you and so on and so forth. It's a big heal, but I never feel pressed to have to stop and do that when I could just be healing with my normal moves. That's it for those moves. Other moves that I do bring in, depending on Power of the Light, if there's not a Stamplar or Templar, then we really want to make sure that we have this on our bar. Minor breach and fracture is all I'm worried about it. Also, it does copy damage. I go with Power of the Light. The Purifying Light heals, and I think I was looking to see if the damage side was worth it or not. So I still got to go back and change it over, but I like Power of the Light either way, as long as it's giving them minor breach and fracture. That's a big part that stacks with everybody else's moves, unless it's cast from the same move. They don't stack. So if somebody else is running it, healer doesn't need to. Radiant Aura, area, mag steal. So if one healer is running Ellie Drain on the main target, you can go up and splash a big group with Radiant Aura if you're not running Power of the Light. And this will give mag steal to everything. Also, while it's slotted, you gain minor fortitude, endurance, and intellect, increasing your health, stamina, and magicka recovery. Amazing. Health counters being a vamp if you are, and more mag, and get your stamina back so you can block it. Crushing Shock, just in case you need it. We're not chasing damage, so screw Force Pulse. This is all about you need it to be interrupted, and somebody's not doing it, so you're helping out. I don't use regen. I heal trials. I feel that it is too greedy. You can only pick up to 2 people, and you can't control that. While it is an amazing move, and there's gear to wear, I do not use it. Too greedy, in my opinion. Siphon Spirit, amazing move. Put it on, it gives them mag steal, and it gives them life steal. If you have breach on one thing, you can Siphon Spirit instead of Ellie Drain. 300 magic every 1 second while damaging. 300 magic every second while damaging. The minor mag steal is exactly the same. The tank is already major breaching it. Ellie Drain does not need to be up at that point if you're running Siphon. This is giving life steal as well. Pick your time and place, make sure the group's ready for that. Ring of Preservation. It's a stam move and costly, but your allies in the area have the cost of roll dodge reduced by 20%, so it's nice for something like World Shaper. Put it down, people go dodge, roll out. It costs less, more sustain. Minor protection and minor endurance, reducing your damage taken by 8%, increasing your stam recovery. Whatever about the stam recovery, but 8% is not bad. Vigor if you ever need it for some reason. Rapid maneuvers. And Purge. Make sure to have Purge. You need that. There are fights where you have to have it. In general, God, when I cast Rune Focus, I have 13's Fizz and 23's Spell. Feels low, normally a tank. 17k health, 30k mag. I'm using Witch Mothers. At the moment I'm using basic spell, or just mag pots, just trash. But I would recommend making spell power pots for yourself. It's amazing. It's basically Sanctuary in a can. Gear. So Master Resto gives people stamina. Asylum When you cast your combat prayer, it starts as blessing and protection, morph it into combat prayer. Then any mag or stam healing abilities reduced by 27% by 3 seconds. So you can essentially spam one move for the cost of 4 moves for the cost of 3. That fourth one won't be affected by the cost reduction, but you'll have the extra in order to be able to cast that fourth one. So works really well. Combat prayer, healing spring, healing spring, healing spring. Getting a lot of mag back on that. I carry many different stabs to reflect the different gear I wear. Mending, reduce the damage. It says weapon damage, but as far as I know, when it mitigates it, the NPC does not have a weapon or mag. It says does damage in game coding. This hits it at that point. When it hits you as physical as magical. This is before. So you debuff them before it hits you, and so it debuffs both sides, even though it's stated weapon damage. It might also be something like the staff is magic, so therefore it's a weapon. Worm Cult reduces mag cost. 4% is not much, but it does add up. Twilight Remedy. Aegis is really nice, helps reduce damage coming in. Mag recovery and spell damage. It's pumping up how powerful and sustain. An ally activates your synergy. They heal themselves. Really good heal. That's a 2,000, almost 3,000 tick per second. And then also minor force if they need it, depending on the build, increasing their crit damage done by 10%. And that's once per ally, so everybody can use this. Also, cooldowns 20 seconds per synergy anyways, so that's a half time on crit. Olorime, Aegis, mag recovery, a lot of sustain, not as much power. Casting a ground effect ability, throwing a shard, throwing blockade, putting down a ritual, putting down anything on the ground. Does not matter if you heal them, just place something on the ground. It will put up a little ring while in combat. I actually have it on, so I can show. And here's the Olorime buff there on the ground. And you'll see that the shard goes away here in a second. And there was the Olorime. So, let me step back, there we go. You can see this. This is Olorime. Step into it, get your power. You see it here? Get that. Step out as you're good, or stay in it until it's expired to ride it for the longest time period. But you need to get in and out of that. Unlike Spell Power Cure. Worm Mending, Infoul. Infoul is really only used on something that can't be knocked off balance. The 10% damage that comes from this is, or the 8% from minor vulnerability. Minor vulnerability is already procced onto the enemy from concussion off of a lightning staff blockade. You are overriding that. A person whose build relies on off balance, you are replacing this. So when the target is immune to off balance, they can't get that anyways. Apply it yourself. Heavy attack on your lightning staff. You don't actually have to do the full heavy attack. You just tack it and it'll do it. Twilight Asylum, I believe that's it. Helms, Troll Kings helps, gets their health recovery up. Sentinel Recugums, if you're not running the Master Resto, this is a nice source to give people a little bit of stamina back. Bogdan, this is a good heal. I have my Earth Gore is on my tank at the moment, but I could pull that and get that on him. Earth Gore would be a really amazing set, and it's actually preferred to have in your pocket. I'm just been progressing Cloud Rest, so I've been using that as extra heals down below. Anyways, oh, and something that's really important, depending on what you're running, if you are running the wrong setup, well, the right setup, you won't be able to use your You know, if it's a resto move, if it's like you have to synergize, well, you can throw this from back bar. They can hit your shards and your orbs on back bar, and you just go to front and start healing, but your front bar won't synergize. So, I mean, you got to be careful with that if you're putting on a Master Resto with a helm. But for example, Allura May procs off of any ground ability. So I intentionally proc it with my shards, my blockade, etc., my rune focus. I proc it there. It doesn't matter about healing. So I only need it on back bar. I put Master Resto in on front if we have a lot of stam, or Asylum Resto in if we don't, so I can spam the hell out of things. So do note that. Make sure to be very careful about how you balance those. And believe that's, champion points, similar to a tank's. Last thing I ran, I didn't need Hardy. Put it all into Spell Shield. But Ironclad, Spell Shield, Thick Skin, Hardy, Elemental Defender, and maybe if you need it, Bastion. Block cost or break free reduction, mag recovery, your tenacity one up for heavy attacks, especially if you're running infel. Cost of block reduction, tumbling reduction, your healing done, Elfborn. I'm running this a little low right now. I don't know why I have that point there. Shh, don't tell nobody. Thaumaturge, I mean, why not? My blockade's a little bit better because of it, but really it's pointless to chase that. If we're going to chase anything, we want to do like our healing power should be 100 and 100 into here, and then whatever else into like Elemental Expert or something. Alright, thank you. This one is a little longer, there was more to go over, so until the next time.